Hi Rosebuds, it's Rosie. How's it going? Finally, I'm getting to do another interview. That's what I've been busy doing, is interviews. Doing another video. So I've been trying to rack my brain about what do I want to share with you on my next video. I am still working on the altered notebook, and I'll probably have another one of those out this week. But in the meantime, I've been really kind of assessing the situation and trying to figure out how I can make things faster and use up what I have instead of buying more. I'm going to fix the camera really quick. So instead of buying more things, I'm going to be really trying hard to work through what I already have. So, and I also wanted to show you, I'm going to be making some, I'm going to be making a couple of covers out of these really cute folders. One of them was given to me by a previous boss, and this one I bought, and I just rediscovered it today, and I thought, definitely need to do a cover for this one. I wish that the peacock was over here though, but anyway. Can't have it all your way. So let's start with what I'm working on this week, what I've been working on this week when I'm not on the camera. Sorry, I found some stuff I forgot to clear out of the way. So I don't know if you're anything like me, but I have purchased paper packs because they have a few pages that I really like. So for instance, in this one there was, you know, I liked the roses, and there was a Paris one, and there's some pretty floral ones that I liked, but the rest I could take or leave. And so then I have this paper pack, you know, just sitting here like not being used, wishing that they were being used. So what I've decided to do is yesterday I went through all three of these paper packs, and I took out basically one sheet of each, and what I'm doing some mask making is basically what I'm working on. So what I did is I took the sheet down, I measured it to the specifications of how I would typically, the measurements I would typically have in a, I'm videoing, so quiet. The measurements I would typically have in my journals. That's another thing. I also decided that I'm going to, instead of being all over the place, and I think a lot of new junk journalers probably get caught into this thing where they're so excited, as I was and have been, about making them, that you just make and you don't really pay attention to measurements, and then you want to get into selling, and then it starts to be a little bit chaotic. So one second. What I've decided is I'm going to stick to 3 sizes generally of junk journals. There's going to be a pocket size that I love to make. Pocket size is where I go. That's the kind I like. And then there's going to be a little bit bigger that's, I don't have the measurements in front of me. I haven't actually even settled on the measurements for the other 2 sizes. The pocket size is 4x6. But the other 2 I haven't settled on. So there's going to be the larger one that's kind of like a book size, but not with a book cover, like an altered book cover. And then there's going to be the altered book cover ones. And I'm going to try to keep those altered book cover ones to be really close to the same size for all of them. So the 2 top tier ones will basically be the same size. And the reason why I'm deciding that is because I want to be able to mass make, and I want to be able to have components that will easily fit into those 3 sizes or forms of junk journaling. So yesterday I took basically a page of each design out of all 3 of these, and I trimmed them down to the measurements I wanted, and these are going to be made into either little envelopes with the thumb holes that you could glue onto the back, or, you know, have a flip up or something, or they're going to be made into envelopes. And I have well, I had a sample of that. I'm going to find it right as I turn the thing off. But I actually do have a sample of it. It's right here. It's one of the ones that I've been selling. So basically, they'll be turned into something like this. So these are ready for two different types of components that I'm going to be typically using in my journals. And I've also I'm starting to narrow down the basic components that I want in my journals, so that, and of course, you know, every journal has to be a little bit different, and so I want it to be different, and it's not going to just be like, you know, nope, it has to have this component and this component every time. But I'm going to have my standbys and the ones that I always like to make in one way or another, and so I'm making a list of those and mass making, so I could just pull out and do what I have to do. Now, the one thing that I have to say is, like I said in the beginning, there's some of the pages that you don't really like so much. So like, as I got, like, okay, so this is really pretty coloring wise, but I'm like, I do vintage look, or really like super feminine journals, and so this doesn't really fit into the way I do it, but these are still okay, because this could be the background that you can collage over, and then little peaks of this color can show out, you know, show through. And so you'll still be able to put, for me, this is my color palette right here. This is the color palette I like to stay in, or this color palette with muted, you know, with the colors muted a little bit. So this piece is really valuable, and I can do something with it, just not keeping it like this. So a lot of these are going to be that way, where I'm not gonna, you know, put watermelons in my journals, but I might use this in a way that I could pick up the backgrounds, and, you know, even if I picked up some of that color still, maybe somebody could tell it was a watermelon, maybe not, the way I design it. However, you know, I design it when I pull that out. So this is what I'm working on. I'm really working on using up my papers and not spending any more money except on the things that I absolutely need to get, like glue and, you know, special little things that go with it. So I'm gonna just give you, oh, and then, so I cut those, and then there was a leftover portion. Oh, here's the envelope that I was starting to make of it. So this was this size, right, basically. And then I just cut it down to that. I can put a fastener on it or not. It's, you know, entirely up to me in the moment when I want to make my journal. One second, I need to take a drink. Okay, so that's a sample of what those will be. And then I'm going to take one out here and make a sample of the other one, because I'm going to put it in the bag so I don't forget after I store these in my cupboards in the garage. Because that's another thing, is I want to really take these and put them into useful things, and then store them out in the garage and keep my desk area for things that I immediately need, because I'm just overflowing here. So after I cut those ones out, oops, I was left over with something similar to this. And so I went and I folded, oh, actually no, I digress. This and this was the fold, and then after, when I cut it down to size, I was left over with one of these. And then with these ones, I can use, here I've got, well, anyways, I could just show you. I could either fold it like this and make a pocket that size, or I could fold it in half and make a skinny little pocket. I could do a lot with this, right? I could use it some of it in collaging, whatever. So probably what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to store these ones in a taller bag and keep them like this until I figure out what components I want to regularly make out of them, and then I will go back to that bag and I will fold them into the general style that I, or, you know, form that I want them to keep them in. So here's another, this is this basically. Okay. So let me just clear these off. I want to show you another thing, a few things that I've been working on. And then maybe we could do a little bit of craft with me while I make those journal covers. So 1 second, let me move those out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the bag so I know that that's going to make that. I'll put that to the side. And then on this one, it's basically super simple. What I'm going to do ahead of time, if I could find my round punch, there it is I'm just going to eyeball this and punch. I'm going to face it towards me. Sorry that you're not going to see it for a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to go through, and half of the ones that I had in there, I'm going to punch out like this. And so then I would just glue this, and then probably sew around. So I would sew here, and then fold it up and sew around and glue it, or not sew as well, because I don't know. I love the effect of sewing, but it's one of those things that's on my list that I need to just sit down and do a bunch of sewing and get them all ready so I don't have to. What happens is it feels like a chore, and I don't like my hobby to feel like a chore, even though at this point I'm starting to turn it into a business because I have to pivot and try to figure out ways to make money to pay the bills, right? Okay, so I'm reaching up above my camera. Sorry, I'm shaking. I'm going to show you a couple other things. So I know that this is done by a lot of gals that do the journaling, is we take up our scraps and we stamp. And so this is the first step, and I will keep some of these just as they are, and then other ones I will do the little punch outs. It's not easily accessible, but I have little butterfly punch out. I have, you know, the circle punch outs that I will just go ahead and punch out. And so the way I did these are not coffee dyed. These are with my unicorn spit, which I always use. So I painted on watered down unicorn spit and then dried them. And then afterwards I stamped them. And a lot of them were done with one of my most favorite the elderberry memento is my favorite. I love it. It's not too purple. It fits really good with the tea dyed and coffee dyed papers, and it's purple. And if you know me, which a lot of you probably don't, I like purple, so purple's my color. Anyway, so I did a lot of those, and I just feel like I don't know if this is zooming in good, but the color comes out really, really pretty. And then, you know, these were like Tim Holtz, the distressed, probably this was walnut, and my walnut has been tainted with, the other day, I'll show you what I was doing in a minute, but the other day I was doing some color mixing with my poor picked raspberry is tainted with walnut stain because I was combining the two colors. I'm telling you, these two colors make a really nice antiqued, I don't know, it comes out. Let me show you. Let me just show you. So this is a journal, so if you're on my Etsy, you've seen this. I posted it. I'm working on this journal, and so basically what I've done is I've gone around and kind of like the old-timey photos where it fades out. I've made my own fade effect around, and I used the walnut stain mixed with, I do more of the raspberry, the picked raspberry, than the walnut stain, but the walnut stain just mutes that enough to make it look old-fashioned-y, you know? I'll show you what my favorite, what's my favorite? Well, this is my favorite page because it has a butterfly and I just like the way that looks, but I did this one. Okay, so this one. I have made my own stencil, and I'm sure you guys have done this. I'm not showing you something you probably haven't done, or maybe you haven't seen this. Somebody's done it, I'm sure. But I have, let me back out and get my punch. So I have this punch. It's sunlit. I got it on Amazon. And I punched it out, and it's now with my other stencils. So I just basically, as you can see, went all the way around. And then this area was kind of light after I did it, and then I went around with, oh, that's the other thing. These work really, you could see, I've been doing circular motions with this. You could see it's wearing the brush. These do really good. What I have found with these brushes is that you dip your brush into the ink and you get it to where you want. And even I use these, of course I'm not finding anything, but you know when you have labels, the what they come off of, that like glossy paper that it sticks to, those I found are the best. I just dip a little bit in the one color and then in the other color, and I swirl them around so that it's not going to make this big brush impression on my paper. And then, you know, I start light, and then you could tell how it's going to go, and then you could start applying pressure. So start light with these. Don't just go all in after you've dipped it in the ink, because you could fix anything you do pretty much, but you might not like the way it turns out if you just push hard on that. Okay, so I did it with my other, on a Mary's. I did it with my other, Mary's Pizza in California. If you're in California, you know what that is. If you're not, you're missing out. So yeah, that's what that is. Let me just hang those up, get them out of the way. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. And I haven't bound this yet because I'm not quite done. And I'd like to put something on the front here. It's probably going to be something like "You Are Loved." I actually did try to do that, and I made a mistake. And I realized, oh, dang it, I made a mistake. And before I made the mistake, this wasn't here, and these splotchy things weren't here. And then I made the mistake, and I had to do some gesso over it. And then when I did the brush over it, it made splotchies, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I need to make the rest of it look like that to make it look like it was purpose, right? So that's how you fix things on junk journals, is you make mistakes, because everybody's gonna, and then you fix them by making the mistakes look planned. So yeah, oh, see, here's a good example of the hued background. Oh, I love it. All right, so I'm going to be making this size journal with those two file folders that I showed you at the beginning. So these ones I'm going to be I'm going to keep on working on these and getting them whittled down. I'm doing things like this where let me not shake the camera if I can help it. So I've been punching out a bunch of leftover cardstock and stuff, so some of these will go into here, and obviously these are going to be used a lot, mostly for little attachments like that one I showed you that wrap around the little rivets. And then, let's see, what else can I show you that I've been doing? Oh, I wanted to show you guys something that I've purchased recently. Is this the tin? I don't know what it is. Let me check. No, those are buttons. Sorry about the noise. Let me just move some stuff out of the way. What is this? Oh, that's my... You want to see that? That's my thing for the, like, stuff, you know, hanging things for the binding and, like, on the outside, the dangles. That's what the word I was looking for. Okay, well, I can't find what I was going to show you, so never mind, forget it. You don't get to see. Sorry. I bought, here's one. I bought a whole pack of these little fingertips, and I had this in one of my videos, but man, I tell you, these things are the best things ever, and they save my hands from getting so gunky and dirty. I hope that was not in the camera. I don't think it was. Okay. The next thing that I have recently done is this. So I came across a few, like 8 or 9 rolls of this, and this is from an old FedEx machine, and the FedEx postage would print out on this, and I guess that, yeah, they would just stick it on the envelope. And that was outdated, obsolete. They weren't using it anymore, but they had some of these left over, and the company I was working with was going to throw them away, and so I salvaged them and didn't throw them away. And so then I thought yesterday, I wonder if I can get them wet and stain them and then stamp them, and you can see that I was successful, and they even stick afterwards, so I was able to confirm that afterwards they still stick, and even though the water went through the other side. I noticed though that I was using my dryer, and if I dried them out too long, the front would start turning black, so I basically had to let these air dry. And yeah, there we go. Super pretty. And then I could just stick these wherever I want to. Okay. I'm going to just plop those back up on top of my laptop up here. Alright, so let's get into this. I'm going to do this one first. So my small ones I do 4x6. The papers are 4x6. So the actual, here, let me put this away actually. The actual measurements for the cover are going to be 8 1/4 by 6. Okay, so I have a 1/4. I usually have a 1/4 of an inch for the binding area. So I'm going to decide what I want. I want the purples and the greens to show, so I'm going to measure from this side. Okay. Let me just get some measuring going. So it's going to be 8 1/4, and I need a pencil. And am I in? I am. I'm getting so much better at being in the screen. Okay. And then I always like to go this way too, because my cutter, I don't know if you guys experience the same thing, but my cutter doesn't cut always in a straight line. It's so frustrating. So I like to kind of line them up. Okay, one second. It is warm today and I am thirsty. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide if I want to cut this in half or if I want to leave it for a possibility of a small notebook. I think I do want to leave it there's a possibility for a small notebook. I can't talk today. Oh my goodness. A small notebook. Okay. Which side was I on? I was on this side. Alright. I see. I did that wrong. So that's 8 1/4. And then here I want to go by 6. Okay, you're going to be out of camera for a minute. Okay. That's right. I wanted to... This is... You guys are seeing what I do when I'm not on camera. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to maybe keep that for a notebook. So I'm a possible little mini notebook. So I'm gonna go 6 inches from this little divot here, since that's a little bit taking away from the measuring. So 6. Okay. Now we will cut. And I know I can't fit this whole thing in, so squeaky. Alright, and now I'm going to put that to the side. And then I want to cut down this line. There. And now I'm going to cut the 8 1/4 mark. And we're just going to have to deal with imperfection, I think, on the straightness of the line. So here's the beginnings of my book cover. Okay, so it's valleys make mountains, right? So this is the way I want to do it. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I don't trust those little scoring boards to tell me exactly where I want to score, so I always make lines. So here's the 4-inch mark. I want to do a 4th binding, so I'm going to mark the 4-inch mark, and I'm going to mark the 4 1/4 inch mark, and that's where I'm going to score, regardless of what this scoreboard tries to tell me. So look, today it's proving me wrong. Rude. Every day when I'm not on camera, it's totally wrong, and then I get on camera and it's like, what? What are you talking about? It's like kids, you know? Take them to your friend's house and they're totally good. Oh, they were perfect little angels. And then you get them and they're like little crazy munchkins. That's putting it lightly. I won't say what I was thinking, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there. And then it's time to, I'm going to do medium. I think I like to do medium with these size medium corners, which I don't know what that is according to yours. I just, you could see what the corner looks like. Small is too small and large is too big. It's like Goldilocks. This is just right. Okay. So, this cover is not going to stay like that. As you can see here, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Tim Holtz paper, but this is a Tim Holtz paper. And this is not what it looked like. It's green mostly. So I really kind of took out the green and added in like the pink coloring to that. And that happens by gessoing mostly, and then the distressing ink. So that's, I'm going to do some of that right now. And yeah, I mean, I'll probably, this is not going to turn into a series, this journal thing, but I probably will be doing some craft with me things where you will be seeing me do this. Here, let me, my paintbrush that I use for this is wet, so I need to get my towel and dry it out off camera. Okay. So I don't, like, I am not, like, a mixed media artist person. I just, oh, you know what, one thing I forgot, and I'll probably, after this dries, I'll probably have to go back and do. It's really important, and of course I forgot it, is I need to sand this down because it's really glossy. And I'm sorry about the shaky camera. I mean, this might be okay, but, excuse me. Sorry for cracking my knuckles on camera. It might turn out okay, but we'll see. We'll see. I might have to just sand it down and re-gesso over it, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and do the dryer. If I could get my gesso to stand up. Yeah. So let me do a little sanding, and I will speed all of this up in the video, so you guys don't have to watch this part. If I can figure that out. If I can't, I'm so sorry, and I hope you will forgive me. Trying to do this slow so I don't shake the camera too much. Oh, I don't want to sand out all of the color either. So I'm going to have to be careful. But I do want to distress it because I just don't want this to be super shiny and like, oh, this just came off the shelf and there we go. This is for you. Whew. That is building up some heat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, my semi-wet cloth, go over it, and then I'm going to gesso again. So like I was saying, I'm definitely not like this mixed media artist person. I just like, I've watched a lot of ArtyMaze, and she like gessos like literally everything, and I love the things that she does, and so I'm just, you know, I'm gonna do the same thing she does because I like it. And it's funny, you know, we all do these things and they all turn out in our own little style, and yeah, I just love how we're all doing basically the same thing, but we have our own little signature things, you know, that make it uniquely ours. I put this piece of paper on my board to especially keep from the gesso getting all over it, and then I'm sitting there doing it because I'm trying to stay in camera. It's all your fault. No, it's not. Sorry. Oh, and I just want to say hi to my family because I don't know if they're going to be watching this one, but my sisters watch. It's funny, like, Rennie, I'm so surprised that you watch because you're totally not into this. And then she said that my little nephew sometimes watches, who's not little anymore. He's a teenager now. So hi Rennie, hi Jay, hi Heather, hi Mom, and everybody else who's watching. Valencia, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I really do. I'm gonna have to not be. I can't make my mom's book on here if she's gonna watch, or maybe she'll like watching the process. I don't know. Okay, so here we go. I mentioned in a recent, earlier video that I'm gonna do a cookbook for my mom, so she knows I'm making it. I told her already. She just doesn't know what it's gonna be, unless she's watched that video, in which case she does, and I don't know why I'm worried about it. I don't need to stress about it. Okay. So this is getting there. So I thought that, okay, so this is, I'm not going to say who this is for, but it is for somebody special. And so there's going to be a lot of animal type things in this journal. And it's kind of different than this whole thing, but I still want to make it in the same way and use the same like techniques that I used. I want to do in this one as well. So I was trying to think, what color, prominent color. So like with this one, it's pink, obviously. It's muted pink. And so I think I'm going to do muted green. I think that'll be really cool looking. And this is not done by any means, this cover. I've got more to do on this, and I'm going to probably add more layers of gesso on it, and then I'm going to do some greens and stuff in it. And then I'm going to, the inside cover I'm going to do something with as well. I don't like necessarily this color. I might gesso it and do the green stenciling. Not stenciling, distress ink that I have. I have to unbury that ink. I don't think I have it here. Violet, peacock feathers, that's blue, right? Where's that green? Maybe this is the one. Let's look. Let's try it. This one's gonna get, oh, that's kind of what I was going for. Yeah, I think this is going to be the color that I'm going for. Yeah, already you could see it's a little bit muted, which is perfect. I'm just going to do, I could brighten it up if I want to. So I definitely just noticed that I have to gesso more, because what I noticed, especially on this kind of paper, it starts rubbing the ink off when you're doing the rubbing, and so it just kind of did that, and it kind of turned darker. Of course, it could be just my paintbrush, or my brush has got so many colors in it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm probably going to gesso a little bit more to build up a little bit, and then yeah, just work on it. Usually a lot of people don't do their cover until the end, even though they know what they're going to do. But for me, doing the cover first kind of sets the tone for me. And then as I'm doing the interior of the book, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come back to the cover and I'll make changes to it. And so it's kind of like a build-up. So like on this one here, it started off just plain. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do with it. And then I put this butterfly on it and I did some gesso. And then I did some more work inside here. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna add some butterflies. And then I did more gesso. And then I was going to do the stamp and it messed up. And I did, you know, so it's like, this is like 3 or 4 layers of not redoing necessarily, but adding to it. And I think that, I mean, this feels old. It looks old to me, and that's where I'm going with it. So I'm going to be doing a similar effect on this one. Alright, so that's basically it for today. I just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts about going forward with making my hobby into my business, and I'll probably be doing some craft with me's to do some of the mask making, and it'll just kind of just be casual craft with me. How's it going? This is what I'm doing. This is the technique, and just talking about stuff. So if you liked what you saw, give me a subscribe and a like. That would be awesome. I'm at today, when I film this, it is Monday. I'm at 26, which I know 26 subscribers is not a lot, but everybody starts somewhere, and I feel really good about the progress that I've made. I've gone from not knowing how to use YouTube to this, so I can only go up from here. And also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my link's below. I do post a lot on Instagram with projects I'm working on. And also, I have officially opened up my Etsy store, and the link's below, and I will be adding more and more things as time goes on. So I'll catch you guys later, and have a good one. Bye.